From the IB Network and the Boxtrap Remote Studio in Grand Junction, Colorado, this is David Alley, and this is the Adventure Alley Show. Hi, David Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. Got a good show, I think, for you today. Got some interesting information. We're going to go over America's new top 10 craft breweries. That's always fun, and a couple of them I've had samples of, and they're wonderful. Healthy recipes for warm weather outings. What happens to wildfire during what happens to wildlife during a wildfire? And there's several of them going around here in the country as we speak. So I want to kind of tell everybody about that. I've had a lot of people ask me, say, what happens to the animals during these wildfires? Well, I've got some information on that. I think you'll find that very interesting. Then I got the best sports fishing places in the Rocky Mountain West to fish. Again, I want to tell you about the bass fishing in Lake Erie. It hasn't been this good for 25 years. And I talked to a gentleman who just got back from up in that direction about 2 weeks ago. Said he'd fished there when he was a kid and had zero luck. Was up there and caught his limit in a matter of hours. The water seems to be cleaner. The water seems to be a lot purer than it was. And I don't know what that means. To be honest with you, I really don't. But he said it's good. It's a good feeling to actually go back to where you were born, your childhood, some good times, and actually react some of those by catching some nice bass. So good for you. We'll talk about that a little bit. Fire restrictions and how to have a campfire without having a fire. That's always a question coming up. You know, this has been a crazy year. Hot, dry, miserable, forest fires, wildfires. Can't have any fireworks. Can't have a cigarette. I don't smoke much anymore, not like I used to. I used to smoke a lot of cigars. I never did smoke cigarettes. I do smoke cigars, once in a blue moon. But if I'm going to have a cigar now, I either got to go in the house, go in a car, or I got to stand underneath a waterfall. And neither of three of those options are very good when you want to smoke a cigar. So anyway, that's I guess that's tough luck on my part. Summer camping menus when you're out in the great outdoors, how to cook stuff and what to cook or without cooking. That's always a great deal, especially if you're lazy like me. You don't like to cook anyway. Just for fun, we're going to have 40 of the top 10 songs that are 40 years old as of this week. Some of them I remember, some of them I like, some of them I really don't like. The 70s were an interesting time. The music back then was outstanding in a lot of regards, and there was an awful lot of real bad, crappy music that came out of the 70s. But overall, I think, in my opinion, there was more good songs than bad songs. And, that's kind of my generation, the 70s. I mean, the wild times, the long hair, the crazy-looking clothes, the wild parties in school, college, and so forth. Well, I never went to any wild parties when I was in college. I kept my nose to the grindstone. I wanted to graduate and get out of college in 7 years. And if I partied and had fun like that, I know I'd still probably go into school now. So, yes, I graduated in 7 years. I'm proud to say, and there's probably a lot of people that can't say that. I'm telling you that right now. So, I want to talk just for fun. 49 years ago this month. Guess what happened? A man landed on the moon. Where were you 49 years ago today? I'll tell you where I was. I was in a closet, and I was painting the closet. And it was my brother's house, for crying out loud. And he came up and got me. He said, "David, looks like they're getting ready to land on the moon. You want to come out of the closet and come down and watch it?" Well, I said, "Of course I do. I want to come out of the closet." So anyway, I came out of the closet, went down and watched the man land on the moon. That was really cool. And then I had to go back in the closet and finish the painting. Yeah, that's probably what's wrong with me today. I've got painted in a small enclosed area and was smelling all those paint fumes. Maybe that's the reason that I'm kind of touched or a little bit touched. I don't know, but anyway, it was a good time, and that was an amazing thing that happened. I got some information here and I've been trying to get this out for the last month. I have a new secret fish bait that's just the absolutely rage here in the western part of the United States. People it's so simple. It'll make your head spin. And people are catching fish of all species on this one particular kind of bait. If you can go fishing and fish with a bait instead of a fly or a spinner, you're going to be amazed about this bait, where you can find it, how cheap it is, and how good it works. And then again, this is another thing that I've been kind of holding on to for a while, and that's the environmental review. Back in the 70s, we're talking about the music back in the 70s. There was basically the environmental age came about where everybody was kind of aware or thought they were aware of what was going on, or the excuses that were being made of what was happening to our environment. How come it's hot? How come it's cold? How come it's raining too much? How come it's too dry? I mean, on and on and on. So I got some information on that that's actually pretty good. Conserve water. We're still in a dry spell here. I mean, we're in an absolute incredibly dry spell. So to save water, I'm telling all men, and this is honest to God fact, go outside and pee. You do not have to pee in your house. There's places you go out behind a tree, go out behind a fence, go out behind your trailer, go out behind your car. Don't be going peeing in the middle of the street or in your anywhere where people can see you. But there's places all over your property that you can go to pee. Men, pee outside. This came to my attention, 30 years ago when we lived in Gunnison. And it makes a lot of sense. I thought the lady who was telling me, she says, it ought to be a law that men have to go outside and pee. Not only will it save a ton of water, and just think if all of us men had gone outside and peed for the last 30 years, how much water we would have saved. God, that's just more water for scotch and water. So gosh, that makes me thirsty to think about that. Shotguns for bugs. This is one of the coolest things that I've seen advertised in a long time. And I've only seen it one place, so I've got some information on that in case you want to go bug hunting with a gun. Then, of course, I've got some snake stories. Where would I go without a snake story? Again, I can't believe all the information that is either good, bad, or fake on the internet about snakes and snake stories. So I got some stuff about that. And a few other little details as far as things that are going on. And this is one of the coolest things, or I don't know if it's cool, but I think it is cool. I just read this today that there is a redwood grove in Northern California that's going to become a new park, and it's not going to be a national park or a state park. It's going to be a people's park. So, and that's really cool. And I got some great information about that. I think it's spectacular, and I got some questions about it, but overall and all, it's going to be a wonderful thing for everybody. For everybody who wants to go up and take a look. So, gosh, where would we be without the redwoods? I've only been up there twice, and they amaze me every time. It's one of the most amazing parts of the United States there is is the redwood forest in Northern California. So anyway. Really quick, let's see what else is going on here. Oh my goodness, guess who's back in the news? Maxine Waters. Good God, this woman, I swear to God, I just don't know what her story is. She put her foot in her mouth again. And, a fisherman saw her the other day and thought that she was a big mouth bass, but really she's just a big loud mouth ass. So, Maxine, she's got that James Brown haircut, and she looks horrible. And she's got her big old trap going. Maxine, keep it shut, man. That's and then being as nasty as she is, want to get people to beat up or people to be, I don't know what else she wants to beat up or somebody going in and harassing them, and that's just not right. Just totally not right. So even Nancy Pelosi, as goofy as she is, she was appalled at what Maxine is doing and what she's saying and how she's saying it. And then the thing about it is she'll say something one day and sober up and say, well, I didn't really say that. Well, Maxine, we got you on tape. So anyway, and she drinks a lot. Her and Hillary, I swear to God, those people start drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning, if not earlier. And that's just not good because they can't remember what they're saying. Pelosi's teeth falls out of her mouth. Maxine talks in circles, and then she can't remember what the hell she's saying, and it's just sad. It's just pathetic sad. So anyway, enough said about them and their drunken stupors. So anyway, well, it's about time for me to take a quick break here, and then I'll come back and we'll get started with some good stuff. Hi everyone, this is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network, inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us. Let's say a few words about Box Drop Grand Junction. They are definitely the place to buy a mattress if you're in the Western Slope or Grand Junction, or even close to being somewhere close to Grand Junction. A lot of people from Moab come to Grand Junction and shop, and they certainly buy mattresses from Box Drop Grand Junction. Not only are discount, but we have truckload sales, and mattresses are a fourth of the price that you can buy them anywhere in the Western Slope, even in Denver, Colorado Springs. Wonderful quality mattresses, 10-year warranties, all in plastic, all made in the United States. Great value, great prices. Can't say enough about the owner and the actual quality of product that he sells, and the studio that we're in. It's a remote studio, and it is here in the Box Drop store. So it's a win-win for us here at the Adventure Alley Show. And if you're ever in the Grand Junction, have the opportunity to come over this way and have some fun in the great outdoors, stop into Box Drop Grand Junction, check it out. You may not need a mattress today, but see what a quality mattress looks like, see what the prices that are offered here are, and not only will you be amazed, but you will also be very impressed. Anyway, Box Drop Grand Junction, there you go.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal, it's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Hi, Dave Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. Thanks for hanging in. We're back. Had a lot of people ask me down through the years, and especially the last few years, when it seems like we have a major fire, wildfire somewhere in the United States every year. I mean, if it's not in California, it's in Colorado. If it's not in Colorado, it's in Arizona, New Mexico, even up in Montana, Idaho. Even Washington State. I had that big one last year, and the smoke was so bad they couldn't even play baseball in some of the communities that were close to the fire. So the fire is hot and heavy, and the smoke is thick when you can't even play a simple game of baseball out in your backyard. But that's the time to put the barbecue grill away as well, so you don't get any more smoke in the air and drink your dinner. So I've done that many a time. Sorry to say that. It's not because of the bad weather or the smoke in the sky either, but it has been dry and it has been hot. Anyway, what happens to wildlife during a wildfire? Interesting. Everybody thinks, oh my God, there's the fires is 40,000 acres. It's going to burn up all the deer, burn up all the elk, burn up all the rabbits and squirrels. Well, no, that doesn't happen. Got to give animals credit. They are smarter than Nancy Pelosi for sure, and Maxine Waters. When a fire comes, they understand it. They smell it and they can feel it, and they skedaddle. They try to get away from the fire just like humans would. Sometimes they have to actually go through a town or across roads and actually sometimes even through lakes and streams to get away from a fire. But 99.9% of all the animals get away from a wildfire, unless it's just a bizarre thing that blows up and surrounds them so fast they can't get out. But those situations are few and far between. And I can't even remember reading the last time that they thought that might have happened to some wildlife. It's been so long ago. So, they get out. Even the snakes, frogs, the thing that are slither around around a swamp or something. They get away from fires too. And I don't know if you can remember this. A couple of years ago, they had a real bad fire down in Australia. And the fire was so big and so massive and so hot that even the snakes couldn't find relief for that. So they were literally invaded one town in Australia, and it was close to the outback or wherever those goofy snakes live. And they literally, the town was overrun with snakes. And thank God no one died from getting bit by a snake, but they sure could have, because there was so many there. And then finally, when the fire goes down, the fire goes away, the wildlife returns. The skunks even come back, and rabbits come back. To be honest with you, sometimes a good fire, a wildfire, is good for the environment. You think, oh my God, no, you can't say that, because it's burning up all the trees and all the plants, and the animals aren't going to have a house or a home or a place that they can call their own, but they do. And once the dried out timber and the dried out underbrush is done and burned up, new life begins. It's better for the environment, because the grass grows back, the trees typically would grow back within a very short period of time. Most aspen trees and pine trees will be 20 feet tall from after a fire in 20 years, and aspen trees much sooner than that. So Mother Nature has a way to replenish itself after a wildfire, and that's just the way it is. And sometimes, unless the fire is actually threatening a town or structures that are close to a town, the game and fish, or the Park Service, or the Forest Service, or whoever's involved, or who's ever got technically who has responsibility for this particular parcel of land, they ought to just let it burn, because it's going to be good for everybody. And not only will the wildlife return and prosper, but so will the environment, and it's just good all the way around. But if it's going to burn down a house or burn down a town, like it did over when we lived in Colorado Springs, oh my God, it burned hundreds of homes and couple people lost their life. Terrible, horrible. And it's just, it's just one of those deals. But if it's not hurting anything, and especially with the beetle kill that it's probably 50% of the forests in Colorado have now, or even in the Mountain West, those beetles have just about killed everything. But this could be a situation where Mother Nature says it's time to have a fire, time to burn it down, time to clean up, time to clean house, bring back the good vegetation for the animals that live there, and a good place for them to have families and for their families to grow up. So that's my box drop. That's not my box drop. My box soapbox speech for the day. But don't forget, if you are in Grand Junction, stop here at Box Drop Grand Junction and check out their mattresses. A wonderful store, wonderful mattresses. Matter of fact, when I get through with the show today, I'm gonna sneak back in the back row here and crawl on a mattress and take a little nap. It's a hot day here in Grand Junction. We talked about I mentioned the fish bait that's quite popular now. That's a real rage here in the Mountain West, and you guys will never guess what it is. People have been catching that use this new bait their limits in record time, and that's all over the Mountain West, from Oregon all the way to California, down to all the way to Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, and so forth. There's a song about that somewhere, and I'm trying to think what that is, and I can't think of it. But anyway, the bait is simple, a simple thing, and I'll tell you what it is right now. It's red licorice. Take a little piece of red licorice, cut it off with your knife, put it on your hook. Now, you can only fish with this if where you're fishing will allow you to fish with bait, whether live bait or salmon eggs or any type of bait that you would normally use. Salmon eggs, super duper, what is that stuff called? A power bait, super duper power bait, any of that kind of stuff, or worms. But if you could fish with those types of baits, put on a piece of red licorice, the old red whip licorice. Twist it around your hook, throw it out there, and the results will absolutely astound you. The people that I've talked to, especially some of the old timers that have been doing this for years, and finally it caught on. Somebody snuck up when they were fishing and say, "How come you got so many fish and we're sitting here not having any luck, and you guys are already packing up and going home?" Well, someone did that, snuck up on these two old coots, and saw that they were fishing with red licorice. So anytime you want to get out in the great outdoors and fish where you could fish with bait, put on some red licorice, stand back, have some fun, catch some big ones. You're going to love it. So there you go. There's the tip of the day. And the second tip of the day, man, go outside and pee, please. I know I'm beating that to death, but God, I'm so into that now. I mean, I agree with that woman that beat me up 30 years ago, saying you got to go outside and go to the bathroom. I agree with her now. I really do.
Hi everyone, this is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network, inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us.
Let's say a few words about Box Drop Grand Junction. They are definitely the place to buy a mattress if you're in the Western Slope or Grand Junction, or even close to being somewhere close to Grand Junction. A lot of people from Moab come to Grand Junction and shop, and they certainly buy mattresses from Box Drop Grand Junction. Not only our discount, but we have truckload sales, and mattresses are a fourth of the price that you can buy them anywhere in the Western Slope, even in Denver, Colorado Springs, Wonderful quality mattresses, 10-year warranties, all in plastic, all made in the United States. Great value, great prices. Can't say enough about the owner and the actual quality of product that he sells, and the studio that we're in. It's a remote studio, and it is here in the Box Drop store. So it's a win-win for us here at the Adventure Alley Show. And if you're ever in the Grand Junction, ever have the opportunity to come over this way and have some fun in the great outdoors, stop into Box Drop Grand Junction. Check it out. You may not need a mattress today, but see what a quality mattress looks like. See what the prices that are offered here are. And not only will you be amazed, but you will also be very impressed. Anyway, Box Drop Grand Junction. There you go.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Well, speaking about going outdoors, the environment has always been in the news lately, and I just don't know. Everybody's saying that there's global warming and there's big fist fights and people arguing about it. And one group hates one because they think it's a hoax. The other one hates the other one because they think that the Earth's going to burn up here in the next 3 or 4 years. Well, I got some information that I've been putting together, and I've gone clear back to the 70s to prove that something may be accurate here about global warming. Maybe a ruse. And I've been saying that all along, that I think there might have been some sort of an issue with it, just because I just can't put my finger on why man has been such. And we have been around a long time, and there's a lot of scars on the earth because of humans. But all in all, this is what we do. This is how it works, and the environment itself is delicate in some areas, but it's kind of like your body. You can abuse your body to a point of no return, but if you stop abusing it, and I'll be damned, guess what? Your body will react and heal itself up, just like Mother Earth. So anyway, well, it looks like I got to take another quick break here, but when I get back, we'll discuss this. It's interesting. I think you'll find it Maybe a little thought-provoking, maybe. Hi, Dave Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. Just we were going to break. I had mentioned to you that I've been doing some research in regards to the global warming controversy that's going around and has been going around now for, the last 10, 15 years. But I went back and did some research myself and found out that back in the 70s, back when I was in high school and college, the big deal was, the Earth is changing, and we're going into another huge ice age. And they predicted that by 2015, which was 3 years ago, that the Earth would be three-quarters frozen again, and the majority of the people would be living in Florida. And the population would probably have plummeted. Instead of 361 million in the United States, we'd be down to about 1 million people because of not being able to grow food. God, I was hoping that I was not hoping. I wouldn't hope for anything like that, but just think if they didn't have any place to buy food, like at the grocery store or the liquor store to get some liquor, boy, life would be miserable, wouldn't it? Anyway, that was the 70s. And then we went into the 80s, and everybody was talking about the acid rain from, back at the Rust Bolt belt. Rust Bolt. It's a rusty bolt, rusty belt. I had a belt one time that was so rusty. Every time I put that sucker on, it would put a big stain on my pants. And I had a hell of a time getting that stain out, especially when I was wearing some lighter colored shorts or something. And matter of fact, I had to get rid of the belt. But then I found out later that I could have taken that belt and actually put some CLR on it, and it would have taken that rust off, and I could have kept the belt. But anyway, but the rust belt back in the Midwest, which was where the steel mills were, and they made cars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They were saying, and these big power plants that were gushing out all this bad smoke and everything. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of pollution back in the day, especially back in the early 1900s. To make electricity and to warm people's houses, they had to burn coal or wood or whatever they could burn, and not a lot of it was clean. Coal-powered plants now are very clean, and gas power plants very clean. And I don't know much about power plants that are made from solar or wind power. I just don't think we get a lot of power from those two yet. But we may in the future. But anyway, my point is that the Rust Belt, and every time that it would rain, the rain would go through these dark clouds, and all this acid would come down on people's cars, houses, and probably even their selves. And it was horrible. And they were saying people were dying in groves because they had all this acid rain and so forth. Well, it was just Mother Nature's way of cleaning out the atmosphere. And there was some of that, and it did get into some of the lakes and tributaries. But, all in all, that's been cleaned up because of clean coal and these scrubbers they put on all these power plants now to keep all the pollution virtually down to nothing. And then we go from the 80s to the 90s, and that's when we went to, oh my God, there's a hole in the ozone, and we're all going to die here in the next 5 years if we don't get this thing sewed up. Man, the rays are gonna come in, and it's gonna burn you like a marshmallow on somebody's schmore. And that went away because the atmosphere actually cleaned itself out. Yeah, it actually cleaned itself out. So anyway, sorry about that phone call. That's my bookie. He wanted me to see if I wanted to put a bet down on what the next crisis was going to be with the environment, whether it be an ice age, acid rain, something in the ozone, global warming, global cooling. I told him I think probably what's going to happen are those dinosaurs are going to make a big comeback, and that's what's going to be the ultimate end of all of us humans here on the Earth. But anyway, we went from the ozone, and that cleaned itself up, and it fixed itself, and how did it do it? Well, what happened? Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. They did put some regulations in on trying to eliminate some of the stuff that was pumping into the atmosphere or into our rivers and streams, and it did clean stuff up. I had a comment earlier today about their catching fish again in Lake Erie, and that's an amazing thing in itself, because that used to be just a sewer pit, and it's not that way anymore. So hallelujah for whoever's doing that. And now in the 2000s is global warming, and that was all started by actually it started back in the late 1990s by our friend Mr. Gore. And this guy, all he is interested in is money. And I'm not going to lie to you. He's saying that there's a lot of these scientists that are coming out and saying that there's going to be global warming. We're all going to die, and the Earth's going to increase temperature up to X amount, and again we're going to fry like a burnt marshmallow on a s'more, and now they're saying no, that there's the facts are showing that the temperature may have gone up a little bit, but the fluctuation of the Earth has gone up and down for the last 10,000 years. And that's just the way it works. And, I've told this story over and over and over and over again. But the Pueblo Indians down in Mesa Verde, down in southwestern Colorado, they left there over 800 years ago. And they couldn't figure out what in the world, why did those Indians leave, Mesa Verde? They had a great place. They had a great place to live. And they didn't have anybody that's trying to make war with them or go in and wipe them out. And they failed. The reason that they left and went down to New Mexico, God of all places, why would you want to go from drought to worse? But they went from there, they think, down to Santa Fe. And there's nothing wrong with Santa Fe. I love Santa Fe. But, it's still drier and hotter down there, too. But they're thinking that it's because of the drought. And they basically ran out of resources. And the research proves that happened, because it all comes down to their trash pits, where you can see back in the early part of the stages when they moved to that part of the state of the Southwest, their trash that they threw over the edge was a lot different than it was when they left at the very end. And it was just that they ran out of resources, and probably part of one of those resources they ran out of was water. And you can't live without water, especially if you're trying to get yourself a nice cold a glass of scotch and water, and you can't find any water. It's time to pack the tent and get out of town. And there was dinosaurs walking around here in Grand Junction 1 million years ago. So guess what? There was a swamp here. There was palm trees here in Grand Junction. Palm trees. And beaches. And you didn't even, on spring break, instead of going down to Mexico, hell no, just go down here to one of the beaches here in Colorado. Have an umbrella drink. Enjoy yourself. Get a suntan. Swamps, they were here. Plenty of bugs, I'm sure, too. And that was 10 million years ago. So things have changed. The temperatures have changed. And I'm saying that is the Earth not changing a little bit? Sure it is, but it always has changed. Volcanoes erupt. Earthquakes happen. I mean, that's just the way it is. So if you're thinking about panicking about global warming and so forth, you're playing right into good old Al Gore's hands, and he's making money and licking his chops every time that somebody says, "Oh God, I agree with him." He's, there's global warming. We got to do something. Let's send him some money so he can tell us how to get this thing figured out. So if you're going to blame anything on the climate changing, blame it on the Pueblo Indians for burning all the trees down in Mesa Verde and their campfires about 800 years ago, or blame it on those damn dinosaurs who were eating all the lush vegetation and pooping everywhere, because they did all that, and that's what's making the global warming today. So if you want to put a blame somewhere, blame it on those two. But I'm going back to the fact there's been a crisis, a symbol crisis. Somebody wants you to think there's a crisis that's been going on since 1970. And we haven't had a good crisis here. Well, those are 4 good crises, but there were never crises in the 60s as far as the environment's concerned. I mean, there was a lot of crisis with, people picking too many flowers and putting them in their hair and that kind of stuff. But there was a shortage of flowers, but there wasn't a shortage of oxygen or sun or too much ice, not enough ice. The ozone's going to pop. No, none of that. It's just a matter of, and it all boils down to everything that happens in this country and around the world. It all comes down to cash. So Al Gore wants to make some cash. He wants to make some money. Global warming is the answer. That's all I'm going to say. Take it or leave it. I don't care. All right, let's see what else is on the agenda. I got to, again, take a lewd here and take a blood pressure pill. Good Lord. Wow. Well, let's talk about the something that's actually good news. This is up at Stewart Point, California, which is Northern California, way north. An environmental group said Thursday that it was acquiring the grove in Northern California, if I could read, come on, with hundreds of ancient redwood trees. Some of them are taller than the Statue of Liberty, and they plan to take this grove of redwoods and make it into a public park. Not a state park, not a national park, but a public park. They want to save this stretch of redwoods because it's been literally like it has been for the last 1,100 years. It's literally on 738 acres, and it's the third largest stand of myrrh redwoods in the United States. And there are 47% more old growth trees in this particular grove than there was in any other groves that are up and down the Northern California coast. So this is really pretty cool. And it says here that the unique element in this property is that it is an ancient forest, and it was purchased back in 1919. And this is interesting. I wonder how in the hell this guy bought this, but he bought this property. And who in the hell did he buy it from? Was it the government? I don't know. That's like giving Oprah Winfrey, have her buy part of Telluride ski area like she's trying to do. I mean, this is national forest land that she's trying to buy. And that's a whole different story. But anyway, yeah, this guy bought this property back in 1919, and it's been in his family ever since. And he was an actual conservationist, as his family members are. And they wanted to do something good for the community. So they sold this property to this environmental group for $9.6 million. Now, obviously, he made some money out of it, and hopefully, this environmental group will actually charge money for people to go in and see this forest. But what a neat thing to do, and what a I don't know who is involved. I don't even know what environmental group is involved with this thing. It doesn't say. But, I got to give them some kudos. This is really a pretty cool thing. And if they're opening it up to the public for a public use, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. It truly is. And they've got one tree in there that they said is, let me see here. What is the height of that thing? It's unbelievably high. Let me see. Where? How many? Oh, doesn't say. No, I can't find it. Oh, no, it says here the tallest of the 1,450 trees that are in this grove, one of them is 313 feet high, and that is taller than the Statue of Liberty. And the other trees that are in the other the national forest of the redwoods, their tallest tree there is only 258 feet. So you see it's got some real high old trees. And one of the trees they're calculating to be 1,640 years old, just about the same age as Nancy Pelosi. So, boy, that's an old tree, and I don't know how they could determine that would be the case. But they say it's 19 feet around, and that's a big tree. That's a huge tree. I'd like to see that. I hope the next time I go out to the coast, I hope this environmental group has that thing up and running so I can go out and take a quick look at it. But if you want some more information, you can go onto the the World Wide Web, and look under Stewart's Point, California, under the Redwood Grove Redwood Tree Forest, and you'll get all the information that you want, and even more. So what a great story! What an absolute great story that is. That's the only story would be better than hearing that is the story of Nancy and Pelosi and that goofy Maxine Waters retiring and being put into a home somewhere, or put on the side of the road with an orange jumpsuit on, one or the other. God, I gotta get over that. I just gotta get over that.
Hi everyone, this is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network, inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us.
Let's say a few words about Box Drop Grand Junction. They are definitely the place to buy a mattress if you're in the Western Slope or Grand Junction, or even close to being somewhere close to Grand Junction. A lot of people from Moab come to Grand Junction and shop, and they certainly buy mattresses from Box Drop Grand Junction. Not only are discount, but we have truckload sales, and mattresses are a fourth of the price that you can buy them anywhere in the Western Slope, even in Denver, Colorado Springs. Wonderful quality mattresses, 10-year warranties, all in plastic, all made in the United States. Great value, great prices. Can't say enough about the owner and the actual quality of product that he sells, and the studio that we're in. It's a remote studio, and it is here in the Box Drop store. So it's a win-win for us here at the Adventure Alley Show. And if you're ever in the Grand Junction, have the opportunity to come over this way and have some fun in the great outdoors, stop into Box Drop Grand Junction, check it out. You may not need a mattress today, but see what a quality mattress looks like, see what the prices that are offered here are, and not only will you be amazed, but you will also be very impressed. Anyway, Box Drop Grand Junction, there you go.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
Let's see what else here. This is interesting. Last week, I have all my grandkids over this week, and they're a lot of fun. I got 5 grandkids, and they go from 3 years up to 16. But I was talking to my middle grandkids that are 9 and 12, and I was asking them. I said, "You guys love spaghetti so much. You guys ever eat spaghetti in a can?" And they actually thought I was kidding. They thought I was making it up. I said, no. When I was a kid, I used to eat a lot of spaghetti in a can. You want something quick, you want something fast. You don't even have to heat it up. Just open the can up and you eat it right out of the can. And if you don't have a fork, use a stick. And but they had never heard of spaghetti in a can before, and they still make it. I think it's Chef Boyardee. I think that's the name of it. It's still you can get his stuff, spaghetti in a can. So if you're looking for something to take on your camping trip, and you can't have a fire, and you can't have any open fires, and you can't cook, a lot of things that you can take up to a campsite and still get a good meal, a tasty meal, and you don't have to have a fire, and you don't have to worry about not only putting the fire out, but you won't have worried about burning the stuff that you're going to eat. But Spam, canned spaghetti, sardines, oh my God. sardines and crackers. And I just asked them, I said, you guys ever had a sardine and a cracker? They had no idea what a sardine was. And I said, you guys like Caesar salad. They put anchovies, which is kind of like a sardine, in that. And that freaked them out. They'll probably not be eating any of those Caesar salads anymore. But, that's whatever. And also you can take fresh fruit, crackers. I mean, there's nothing better than taking, some crackers and cheese and taking some of that summer sausage. Hell, I could make a meal on that right there. Put that on a cracker and have a couple cold beers. Oh, my God. You'd be living high on a hog in heaven, no doubt about that. And there's other things that you can do. If you can cook, sometimes even when you're in a drought like this and you can't have an open fire, you can still cook on like propane stoves, or you can use those MREs. I don't know what the hell they are, what it's called, but you can cook them over a real small propane fire, and if that's the case, then all you really need is either take some tinfoil with you and a cast iron skillet. You could make a meal for fit for a king. Meat, cheese, bread, taco shell, vegetables. Throw a little bit of maybe olive oil in there so you cook it up. Maybe some eggs and bacon. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and it doesn't take. You won't have a big fire, and you won't have a big flame, but you'll still eat like a king. So anyway, there's some things that you can do, and you can think about. Shotguns for bugs. This is something that I've been holding over now for a while. Shotguns for bugs. I saw a thing the other day on the internet where you can actually buy a gun that shoots salt, and it's not one of those things that it's got to shoot with a like a dart and it goes out. No, this thing you put salt in it, and it's got a compartment where you put the salt in, pack it down, then you see a bug flying around like a fly, and you shoot this gun at these bugs, kills them dead on a carp. Man, you hit them and they're dead. And it's got a range. Gosh, that's got a range up to like 4 feet. So you could have a heck of a lot of fun hunting bugs on your trip to the great outdoors, or even in your house. If you don't mind a little salt, flying around inside your house, probably better than dust. Well, there's there's going to be dust in your house. So I forgot to write the name of the damn gun down so you could go out and buy it. But I'll find that out for next time and write that down. Actually, I'm going to buy one, and I'll try it out to see if it actually works. So that's kind of neat. You can't have enough weapons against flies, mosquitoes, ticks, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, by the way, the biggest disease going around right now that's basically out there, besides cancer, of course, and drug overdoses, is getting bit by a tick. They say that there's going to be 300,000 people that are going to be affected by tick bites this year in the United States, and there could be like 10% of them that may be fatal. So, that's more than than AIDS and 2 or 3 other things that are combined. So if you're out in the great outdoors, make sure you use some spray stuff to protect yourself from mosquitoes, ticks, flies, all that kind of stuff. I hate them all, but what would you rather do? Run into a den of snakes? No, I don't think so. But anyway, don't forget this month or next month too, all summer long, is ride your bike to work. I can't ride a bike to work because I don't have a bike. And the last time I rode a bike, which I can't even remember when that was, it's been probably 10 years ago. It's like saying, well, you never forget several things, in your life. One of them is you never forget how to ride a bike. Well, that's a lie, because I forgot. And I tried to crawl on this bike and go down the road, and I'll be damned if I didn't run in to the neighbor's tree. And I wasn't going very fast, and I didn't even go 10 feet, and I ran into the damn neighbor's tree. And luckily, I wasn't going fast enough to hurt the bike or myself, but hurt my pride. So I got up and I put the bike in the back, and I haven't been on it since. So actually, I think I gave that bike to the Boy Scouts. So or whatever they're now. They're the Boy Girl Scouts, whatever they are. I don't know. Don't care. So anyway, did you hear about the massive snake that was removed from a car dashboard in China? Speaking of snakes, I always have to have a snake story. They called the wildlife preserve there in China, And this lady was driving her car, and I guess I don't know what kind of car it was. I think it was I want to say it was a Ford, some sort of a something, Ford Mercury or something. I don't know. And she heard something in her dashboard, and then she saw the snake's head stick out, freaked her out. So she stopped at the side of the road. It was in a town in China, and she called the wildlife preservation group, and they came out, and sure enough, they got some sort of a tool out, because I guess this is a common thing that happens over in China. That's another good reason not to live there. And they got this snake out. It was actually a 9-foot snake, and it wasn't a python, but it was a what are those hissing snakes that stand up on their back and their hind legs and spit at you? Cobra. It was a cobra. That's what it was. And a 9-foot spitting cobra. And they said that this was a very lethal snake, and that the lady did the right thing for stopping her car and calling the wildlife preserve, and they came over and pulled the snake out of the car. So, wow, gosh, isn't that scary? I've seen pictures and videos on Facebook or on the YouTube that somebody is driving down the road. They see a snake on the hood of the car or something, and that crawled up from their engine or something. That's just creepy. Well, my son-in-law went down to Lake Bacane about a month ago to do some walleye fishing, and while he was down there, they slept in a little pull trailer. And while he was down there, he said there was this big bull snake that was trying to get into their trailer up through the floor of this little pull trailer. And I'll tell you what, if that had been me, that pull trailer would have had 50,000 holes in it. I would have shot that thing full of holes trying to kill that snake. So anyway, I'm such a wimp. Anyway, I guess, let me see, what else do I have here? I've got a few more things, but it looks like I'm really out of time again. And gosh, I'm sorry, but I want to thank the Box Drop Grand Junction for their support, and for their studio here in Grand Junction where we record this thing. And I'd like to thank everybody out there for taking a peek in their time to listen to this. I hope sometimes it's useful. I hope sometimes my rambling goes on, and I hope you get some enjoyment out of this. And I hope Nancy Pelosi, keeps on trucking with her and Maxine in the Democratic Party. As conservatives, we got a foothold for possibly good things to happen in the future. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, for the IB Network, my studio engineer Tim Wacker, my equipment engineer Carson Breeze, my IT engineer Blake Olson, this is David Alley saying, you only live once, so go out and have some fun. This has been Against the Grain production. This is the IB Network.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.